he's one of the best Alistair players, you know, that we've had here in the LCK. Of course, not quite up there with players like Marta from back in the day, but still, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to pilot it. A lot more pick-focused and reset-focused.
Very excited to see how much Nongshim's comp does in the early game, especially around things like First Herald. BDD.
Yeah, right now, BDD is going to be struggling. There's the stun. The charm's going to land beautifully, and Zeka picks up first blood. All too easy.
And, of course, will pick up so much of that first blood gold. Or in fact, all of it. 400 gold early here for an Ahri, just really accelerating her. And Dread is in the vicinity, so that's why he feels okay about this, but just, I mean, Dreadstorm Raptors and
so perfect here for Pyosik as well.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Really nice wave management there too from Zeka to kind of help set that up. Ghost coming up after catching that wave, now rotating over, but the prio 100% to DRX. They have full control over this choke. Dread, nice flank angle though, but will Azir be able to ult? Here's the real question, and he's got a wave to catch.
Yeah, BDD is actually just going to stay in that lane, kind of with full rage, but it looks like Dread might have to just go for an attempted 50-50 or something like that, but not going to work. Pulverize is there. The stun comes down as well as the horse is trying to get out. Depth just rains the Acathian stuff on him, and he's going to be able to pick up the second kill here for DRX. But honestly, I mean, Nongshim, did they really have any right of going for that right there? I don't really know.
It was such a wrong move to try to engage there. It was just desperation. And this game, I mean, DRX are winning it in every lane, in every way.
Well, now we're going to go for a bit of a dive here as the Gwen. Let's see how immune she's going to be. Not very is going to be kind of the answer as Canna tanks for a very long time, but does eventually get his way out. But Pyosik with the Heartbreaker is going to be able to come through, grab that kill. Now Canna without an ult. Pyosik is a horse and is pretty scary. Is going to ult over the wall and gets the stun. Can he actually lock down the kill, though, is the question. As Red Smite, not quite enough. But Zeka, yeah, he's got Spirit Rush. There is no way out here for Canna, who's trying to do some alcove gaming. But there is a ward that they prepared earlier, as Canna is just dead. Yep, Zeka is trying to, you know, just account for any sort of potential juke. And they tidy up 2-for-1 in the end. And Kingen having just the best time on this Gwen, going towards his Nash's Tooth as item number 2. And Dread's going to come on over. They did manage to do this last time around, as already the Needlework's coming out. Canna has to ult pretty quickly here as he gets underneath the turret, but it's not going to be enough. Effort is going to go golden, but I have a feeling he might still be dead. Yep. Pyosik, oh no, burning down. There we go. Pyosik picks up the kill. In the end, it's a 1-for-1 cross map as the tower does also fall down. So Nongshim actually trading up here.
Yeah, Nongshim trading up, but will Ghost survive is the question. Barrel's here.
Yeah, well, he's got Featherstorm first, then he flashes, Beryl ults, but he's still taking a lot of damage. Good heal comes out from Deft, and no one's tanking the turret anymore. BDD comes on over, though, as now Pyosik trying to fight it off, but he's not going to quite get there. Great movement from BDD. Gets himself out of the way of the stun, and they are going to be able to lock down Pyosik. And remember as well, Effort doesn't have Stopwatch because that was gained last time, and that means that things like this are going to be valuable. Void Seeker comes down. Effort still at 50% as Pyosik holding on to the aggro of this Drake for now as Nongshim grouped up and in position. Look for Dread, look for BDD. They are the most important as Dread goes in, the headbutt to immediately get him out. Beryl in a bit of trouble right now. They do manage to take the Drake. Beryl taken down first, but it's Effort that falls at the same time. The snips aren't necessarily going to work out, but it's a double kill for Deft. He's at 100 health as Zeka's flashing away. He is going to survive for the moment. Decent charm is there. And that Stopwatch, I don't know whether that was necessary as he was real dead. Killer Instinct comes in as Dread is now going to fall. Theoretically, a triple kill now for Deft in this fight. Soul is going to be very, very valuable. You can see Nongshim actually committing more to this mid lane rather than moving into the river as now Pulverize is going to come in. Effort is going to have to go golden. Does so immediately. Ghost has to flash, get himself out of the way. Deft trying to be the hero in the backline, and he avoids the ult from BDD by just pressing the best button in the game. That is, of course, the Stopwatch. Tryndamere gets one, so Deft will get shut down. But at what cost? They will lose the soul, and it might be even more. And so their wallets are starting to get pretty heavy. As that's the flash forward depth charge. Yeah, it's not really what we wanted to see there, Effort, unfortunately. As Pulverize, I don't think is off cooldown just yet. Effort's going to die. Deft zoned out of this fight for a little while. And in fact, Effort has his Zhonya's back up and available yet again. So slight overextension here for DRX as Kingan's not able to punish anyone. Some low health bars.
You know, Nongshim still need a few more things to go their way. That was one
step. She's
step.
warming her voice up. She's definitely, you know, had her ginger tea and stuff like that. She is well and truly feeling it. But when in doubt, just set up a gank rush. As Beryl just walks forward, they do manage to find the stun. Effort's got so much value out of this Zhonya's, it's ridiculous. He's still going to die, but certainly a cool move as in goes Beryl, finds the three-man pole. That's what we were waiting for. The master of the cow, but Canna is there, not actually able to press his ult button in time, unfortunately, is now can Zeka tidy this one up? Def just stands his ground. He manages to get into his GA as well as PDD. He's going to go gold and observe what the world looks like just before he moves towards the death chamber and the gray screen. And DRX, I have a feeling, may have just done it.
That was just a bank account fight, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the cleanest engage for DRX, but it was 8 champions all on top of the same pixel, and then eventually Deft was like, okay, well, I did a lot of damage, and my GA popped, and we win because we have way more items than you. As it was well played by Effort, but it's not enough in the end. He will be the last to die, it looks like, this game.
Not sure what that was about, but still, this game was well and truly over. DRX are able to take down the Nexus and win game number 1, further solidifying the most useless, right? And this wasn't the case for Pyosik. As you can see, he was even able to do a fair bit of damage. Kingen, though, did a whole host, smacking down onto Canna in side lanes the majority of the game. But just really well-played team fights from DRX. I want to say that a lot of what Deft was doing on his Kai'Sa really was very, very impressive.
And I think that Def needs a long-range 80 carry as a result.
Do it, Def. Don't be scared.
Okay.
All right, we're going Vayne Renata. Okay, that's a lane. That's a lane that you could do. As Deft's having a bit of a giggle about it as well. This is not necessarily a Deft special in order of Vayne Renata. Vayne Renata. I feel like I'd get something a bit fruity.
Yeah, I know what I'm getting myself into is.
And I mean, if we're talking about going to prison, Vayne spotting gets you there. But also, Gwen dashing forward could also be a bit of a problem here, as Dread's going to get a bit of a pushback. The Ghost is already used, as Kingen's now just doing his best to buy as much time as possible. It will be the horse that grabs it, rampaging through the top lane, and Dread a much better start this time around.
Yeah, this time actually finding an early pick onto the Gwen, not going to be traded. It's not that late, dive we saw several times attempted on the King, and this time it's early. Gets the Tryndamere ahead. Such a small move here for Nongshim, but it gives them so much power, as Deft will be able to grab a plate down here bottom side with this massive wave that's crashing, and they're going to zone Ghost out of experience. Yeah. So it's not all for free here for Nongshim. There's a bit of a cost here on the bottom side.
Yeah, that is the handshake that's going to connect, though, as now Ghost taking a lot of damage. Yeah, okay, good stun lands onto Deft. He's going to have to flash to get out of the way of that one, and now they're in a tricky situation. There are minions on this turret, so Beryl can just walk all the way straight back. Is now Deft looking to try and move into this one, but there's a horse, and that is a big problem. The Vayne is going to go down. Effort has to, take his gloves off, but he should be able to do that. There's a bit of a fight here towards the top side, as Canna doesn't have to press his ult until relatively late here, as Kingen trying to run away. He is going to be able to do so, as the heal from the Q going to be enough to keep Canna alive. And Nongshim now looking to grab a Drake of their own. An opportunity for 3 clouds for both of these teams. So a safeguard available is now Deft and Ghost fighting this one out. It's a lot of burst damage, but it is traded back immediately. The final hour is on, and that was so close. Flashes come through. The flash from Deft will pick it up in the end. I love the jostling for position between the 280 carries. Yeah, exactly right, as we've got immediately another fight. The headbutt into the wall there from Dread. He didn't want to do that. Beryl just said that he had to, as now underneath the turret, Pyosik looks for more, as now Dread 1 versus 3, but you cannot do anything there, and DRX find the outplay in the bottom lane.
Lead, and this is why Nongshim was playing so passively, as I was talking about before, is Deft.
Yeah, fighting into a 4th bullet there as well.
And he went forward with the Gale Force, and guess what? He's just like, I'll flash on you, dude. Position they have, it's pretty nice. So Zeka.
Yeah, he's going to have to use his Spirit Rush to try and get out of here, but Dread runs real quick. There's one more charge left available. The flash is going to be there as well, as there's the kickback. Zeka not even going to use his flash, because the Primordial Burst got in range. I think he probably could have flashed, though, instead of relying on that, but You can see a bit of disappointment in the face of the mid laner.
Yeah, it was a bigger collapse than I think he realized there. And yes, he is able to get BDD's flash out from this, but he's taken off the map. No side laning for you.
This is great news. Deft going to get sped up, moving towards that Baron pit as Kingen looking to try and hold onto this wave as best he can. Nongshim now going to have to do some face checking as Zeka has found the Jhin. And that is going to secure it. It's in fact Pyosik that locks down that kill. And if you're walking into darkness, don't face check with your AD carry.
Yeah, that was not the play. That was definitely not the play. Now DRX have such fast Baron clears, you mentioned, and they can zone away the rest of Nongshim. So much damage here, and the real big range advantage is in the Jhin only. So Nongshim, yeah, they will be able to force this turret down, it looks like here, but DRX do not care, like, at all. I'll take. Yep. And Waikana is going to get a free teleport here. Now, will he get out with his life is the question. I said it was a free teleport, however.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very difficult. There's the spin as Pyosik is going to find him. There's the kickback as does manage to bonk him into the wall. That is attempting to go for it here as he goes berserk for a moment, and Beryl is going to be able to lock down the kill in the end. Use of the ulti working out there for DRX, but Nongshim now back onto the map. You can see all of that vision that they had going to be largely removed as Cano still dead for another 35 seconds.
Baron's up, and, you know, once again, might just trade a turret for Baron because they can clear this so fast. And Nongshim have to be decisive at moments like this. They need to leave someone on that turret and then rush over faster than this, or just ignore the Baron. Like, you got to be decisive. You're doing kind of half measures here.
Yeah, do one of the things. Is now Zeka still off towards the side here as now Dread, he's running really, really quickly. He wants to go for that 50-50 if he can, but the ulti's going to come through. It zones them away beautifully as now... Yep, the bailout going to be used, but it's onto himself here as the Baron is just going to be given up on. Both of the supports are now taken down, and the event horizon is on cooldown. DRX move back towards this Baron as Dread still has his ulti up, and the kickback onto BDD. Event horizon goes through again, but immediately the flashes come on forward. Death flashes over the wall as well as now they're looking to tidy up the team fight. It's the Viger, he is dead, and Ghost is now running for the hills. Kingen is so scary. The Q comes in from Pyosik. That will be the ace, and DRX can do anything they want after a team fight like that.
Yeah, they certainly can. Pyosik having a great game on the Lee Sin, very quietly, you know, making it through these mid-game fights, setting up so many of the peels that are necessary for his teammates. And yes, Beryl did die. He used his bailout on himself, wasn't able to, of course, resurrect, but the turn was so good for DRX and their advantage was massive.
Once again, another one of these situations where it's effort just by himself, having to try and save a dying Nexus. It happens one more time, and Vayne will cut through this Nexus so quickly. 2-0. Yeah, Deft never got a Penta in the LCK for a
whole year.
Oh, no.
Or for 10 years, rather. This is why I don't read the GSUN translations out, because they come so slowly.
Yeah, no, it is difficult. However, it is good to know. So thankfully, Def never got a pentakill in the LCK. I think he managed to get one in the LPL on EDG back in the day.
Congratulations, guys! And this is Jisun for the POG interview translation. Deft and Pyosik from DRX with this 10th win of the split. You guys are back on the 3rd place. How do you feel, Deft? First off, you know, the 3rd place competition is really intense, and I'm happy to be back. And also, I'm happy that I got to play a lot of fun picks today. Pyosik, how was today's series? To be honest, well, we actually tried a comp that we never played before, so as a jungler, I was so confused and worried at the same time, but in-game it went well, so I was so happy. Yeah, we could hear the players actually saying that how did he even win this? So speaking of the in-game actions, in game number 1, Nongshim Radford's first pick, Hecarim, showing their intention to go for a dive comp, and DRX also went for a dive comp against them as well. So is a dive comp a counter into a dive comp? Could you break down this kind of a matchup? I think better one wins. That's it. And Deft, I have a question about your record or your stat, because first off, speaking of the matchups, you know, Ghost decided to play Ares Aya to deal with Kaisa. Well, the laning phase was not as hard as I predicted, so it was pretty okay. And after game number 1 in the player comms, Deft, you said you have never gotten a penta in the LCK. However, the moment you secured Quadra, Zeka stole your penta away. How did you feel at that moment? I wasn't really vocal about my penta, so I think they kind of blanked on it, you know? No one was aware. And I was not aware as well, so maybe that's why I always missed the pentas. Pusick, are you willing to next time give him the penta for Deft? I've got a penta once, so I can. What about the other players? I mean, Burrow, he doesn't care anyways. And or mid and top, I think they might kind of bully Deft, but in the end, they will let Deft pick up the penta. Moving on. The most important thing that happened today is actually the Vayne Renata comp down on the bottom lane. And the players were also like, oh, we've never tried this before, how are we going to do? So could you walk us through that draft? So the bottom duo had to pick in the second rotation of the pick. And like looking at the opponent's comp, I felt like I had to play Vayne. And then I told Beryl about it, and he was like, Renata is a really good support for Vayne, so we tried this out today. So how was it in game? Do you think this duo will be a lot more viable in the future? I mean, they're too passive during the laning phase. So it's like all in for team fights. But once they get ahead in lane, it's so easy to snowball off of it. In game 2, we had very little kills and actions. It was more about the macro and map play, which is in charge of the support and jungler. So who was leading the calls? At first, I was not able to read how the game was going and the flow of the game. So like every time I was about to make a misplay and like be in a misposition, like Beryl was like, where are you going, Pusick? So because of that kind of a lesson from Beryl, I have become a lot more proactive and I'm a lot more kind of controlled. And we are so curious about your ceremony today. You know, you were using your keyboard like a dagger. It's a Viego Q and then like auto. I'm sad nobody could actually recognize that. Now that we heard your answer, I think we can tell. And that definitely looked like a Viego. And we had a lot of fun actions from DRX, especially Burrow walked the other side of the seat. He was about to sit on the opponent support seat. What happened? I mean, I guess he got used to playing with Ghost for so long. He was like, it was a muscle memory of Beryl, so he just tried to sit next to Ghost. And then he was like, why nobody stopped me? And he was trying to sit on the Nongshim seat, and he was like, no one's around him. He was so flustered, and he was like ran back to his own seat. Deft, with this victory, we have a higher probability for you guys to actually advance to the second round of playoffs. Are you guys gonna make the miracle run here? I think we have a higher chance of being a third place, so we will do our best in the remaining series and make it happen. What about you, Pusick? If we win all 3 matches that are left, we have a very high chances of making or landing on third place in the end. So I hope we can finish on third place and start off playoff from there on. And you guys still have a chance to make it to the second place as well, so looking forward to seeing that as well. And this will be the end of the interview from DRX POGs and back to the endless carpet space. Thank you.